Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Let's just jump right into it. Talent versus perception. Understanding how attitude shapes legacy in boxing, especially for somebody like Claressa. She still feels she's great. She has fans that feel she's great. A lot of us feel that she has great talent inside the ring, but as far as wearing the title of being great, we're not so sure about that. And we feel there's just been too much damage and that can be repaired for her to continue wearing the title of great. Now, I want to say this. There are very few fighters in boxing history, like we all know and we all say it, that have done what she's done, all right? Historic achievements, from an amateur to a pro. But yet, despite all of that, she remains one of the most debated figures in the sport, and she doesn't seem to be slowing down. So the question becomes, why doesn't dominance always translate into universal admiration? Like, where is it? You would think someone like Claressa Shields, if you didn't know her, and you just know what's on the paper, the black and white, the resume, that she would have universal admiration. But I'm going to tell you this, the answer sits at the intersection of attitude, perception, and professionalism. Attitude matters, man. I'm going to tell you just from experience, attitude matters. Whether you are in a professional setting, you're just walking down the road, or you're jogging and you see people and you say hello, regular customs and courtesies, or you're on the internet, and even for me, creating content. If you have a foul attitude, nobody gonna mess with you. You know what I'm saying? You become a target. Because I realize there are a lot of people that sit in the bushes on my chat. And then over time, some people will come and say, hey, I've been there for a couple months. I like the way you do things. Or some people will say, hey, unsubscribe. And I'm like, damn. You know, so even I have awareness as far as when I'm talking, to still be myself, but not be too much a hood champion, because I could be kind of wild. So the importance of attitude, man, is there for everything that we do. But when it comes to boxing, you got skill, then you got perception. Skill in boxing will earn the respect. Claressa has earned the respect because of her skill. But attitude shapes you being likable, which Christy Martin pointed out she's not. Most of us feel, hey, Claressa's just not likable. She's not nice. She's mean. Attitude shapes your marketability, and it shapes your legacy. So is she great? She's a great fighter, yeah. But as far as talking about being great and legacy, well, we got to wait and see what happens there, because attitude shapes that too. You can be great in the ring, but outside of it, not be seen that way. And in today's world, those two things are constantly connected. You know what I'm saying? I just want to point this out. I understand with certain people like Claressa and others, everything is money, money, money. The Wu-Tang cream, cha-ching, ching, dollar, dollar bill. But I'm going to tell you what's more important than just having them goddamn Benjamins, man. It's having professional currency. Your attitude equals professional currency. I learned that shit, man, in the profession I was in. Attitude equals professional currency. And when you have a fucked up attitude and things don't go your way, you want to sit back and want to blame everybody. Get the fuck out of here, man. You got to be an adult. You got to show accountability. You got to own your shit. If you out here insulting people, attacking people, you're cussing, you're talking about hurting people, you're disrespecting families, disrespecting kids. If you're out here doing that, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to catch up with you. Professional currency. A lot of people don't know about that. In any profession, sports, business, entertainment, even this whack-ass internet, attitude is currency. It affects opportunities. It affects partnerships. It affects public support, and it can even have you run into a wall and doors will close on you where the opportunities that you had now are gone. Gone. And you won't get them back. You see, when you have a strong, composed attitude, like they say, swim without getting wet, you listen more, talk very little, or don't talk at all. You just let the people around you do all the talking and make themselves look crazy. Doors will open for you. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you from experience. But when you have a reactive or confrontational attitude, It complicates relationships, and I'm telling you, doors will close on your ass. And a lot of people don't understand the difference. But you look at yourself and look at your attitude. And for Claressa, I think she's got to start looking at herself. Because her attitude, I think if she had the right attitude, it could have took her far beyond anything she ever imagined. The right attitude could lead to leadership roles, brand deals, sponsorships, long-term influence, and fan support. The wrong perception of attitude can lead to missed opportunities, increased scrutiny, public pushback, and public backlash. And people who are sitting around quietly trying to bring your ass down. You see, I have a good understanding of professionalism and public image. There's a lot of things you do away from the public. It's cool because people don't know. But when you're out in front of the public, even though I'm not saying no one should not be themselves, but you got to think about being professional, being respectful. And the link between attitude and professionalism is key. Professionalism isn't just showing up and winning fights for Claressa and for any fighter. It's also about communication, composure, consistency. Because we're dealing with social media. Social media is not real. The internet's a dark place. I just look at it as people's playgrounds. I don't really be on it like that. People know that. They say, oh, he'll be joking. I really don't. I do my videos, look at it, something here and there, but it's too negative. Even when I'm on Twitter, kind of just scanning over things. I ain't on there too long. I look at what I want to do, repost stuff, say, oh, this is good, talk about this, but, oh, I didn't know that. But to sit here, it's too negative. And, people will try to pull you into that shit. And Claressa is someone who has allowed people to pull her into that. But for Claressa, look, every athlete is a public figure 24/7. Moments that go viral, whether interviews or posts, shape perception just as much as fights. That's why you saw when she went on that rant the other day and going off on everybody and MVP and Baumgartner and Shadesha. I mean, she can't take that back. Because there were some people, again, and this is what I'm telling y'all is the truth, I don't make shit up, who supported Claressa and they said, I just can't do it no more. Because their perception of her has been shaped. And they're like, we're done. We can't do it. And for those who never heard of her, you got to understand the first impressions matter. Many people are introduced to athletes through viral clips, through headlines, social media moments. Those people who are like, oh, who is this? Our first impression of this chick is here ranting and raving and talking about hitting somebody over the head in a bottle, or someone else learned of her from the relationship with Papoose, or someone else learned of her to what happened with the holiday thing or with Layla Ali. First impressions are like, That sticks with people. The first version of you people see, it can stick. And it's hard to change that narrative later. And for those who don't want to change the narrative, well, you're going to continue to be miserable. You're going to continue to be miserable and be unhappy and want to blame everybody for your downfall, for your misery. You did it to yourself. And that's kind of like Claressa. She got to own that shit. You did it to yourself. I'm not perfect. I made mistakes, and I learned from my mistakes. And I was up and away. But when you see people out here, man, I think once you get out your 30s, you should start cleaning up your act. If you're still out here beyond 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, you're still doing dumb shit, you never learned. You know what I mean? You're still acting your shoe size. You never learned. And Claressa's got to figure it out right now because it's hard to change that narrative once the first impression about you sticks. Now, there's been case studies and patterns, man, when they talk about public perception and celebrity examples. Like for Kanye West. Look at him at different points, celebrated as a genius, then criticized for his behavior and statements and overall attitude. So the lesson, man, is just perception can elevate or it can isolate. Regardless of your talent and what you bring to the ring and what you feel people should just appreciate you for. Don't worry about if I'm doing this. Don't worry about if I'm doing that. Just worry about me in the ring and what I do in the ring. Well, that's just not how it works. Because most people know what you bring to the table. They know what your talent is. But that's just not how it works, man. You can't tell somebody to just sit their perception of you aside and just appreciate your talent. That's not how it works. That's why it's important to understand early life and development. Attitude doesn't appear out of nowhere. It can be shaped by your environment, experiences, adversity, all this as a kid. And then, by you get into adulthood, public figures are still judged by how they present themselves because as a child, they had some things go on with them that they haven't quite resolved or got the help for. Now they're out here, man, and the public perception, who doesn't know about the background, they just look at them and feel like, man, this person here is just really chippy and on the edge. What are they going to do next? Not realizing that maybe this person needs a little bit more understanding and tolerance. But again, first impressions stick to you. And once a person decides you're toxic, they don't want to mess with you. You know what I mean? I understand this argument about got to be real. And I understand about, be strategic. And I think fighters often pride themselves on being authentic, unfiltered. That's Claressa. We're fighters. We're supposed to be a kind of way. Y'all sitting here worried. And some of the fans, they're fighters. They're supposed to cuss, supposed to carry on, supposed to shove each other, supposed to be mean. That's not true. You're supposed to be authentic and unfiltered, but there's a balance. Authenticity without strategy can create problems. You got to know when the showmanship switch gets turned on and when to turn it off. Because there's a branding reality. And this is the truth. To become universally embraced, athletes often need consistent messaging, positive engagement, strategic restraint. And that's the branding reality. You want to be universally embraced? Make sure you have a consistent message. It can't be negative. Positive engagement. Everything can't be consistent messaging. You got to make sure you're positive. Positive engagement can't be negative. Strategic restraint. You got to know when to throttle back. You know what I'm saying? So can the perception change for Claressa Shields and for athletes and for people? Normally I would say yeah, but with Claressa and what happened here recently, I just don't know. I don't think so. Because you look at her when it comes to consistency. What does she consistently put out to the atmosphere, to the universe? It's negativity. It's going viral. You know what I'm saying? Everything is negative, negative, negative. Don't get me wrong, she goes viral. Sounds like she's making money off the internet. I mean, you can't knock that because she's figured out a way to capitalize. But how about this? Claressa is so well known and she's so viral. Claressa, I said this last night, she could come on the internet and just eat food because everybody talks about how she eats. She can just come out here and eat food with her foot, with her hand, with a knife, fork, spoon, with a tortilla, with whatever. Piece of white bread, and not say anything. And thousands of people will watch her. Those who just enjoy watching her, those who are curious, like what's she doing, and those who are the haters, who just can't wait to take that, screen record it, and go upload it. But she don't have to say anything. So she's in a very unique position. But as far as the perception changing, I just think just too much has been done for her to turn back. She can try. But I mean, I just don't see it. I don't know if there's enough time for her to consistently show that she can be positive. She can be uplifting. You know what I mean? She can be someone, man, that's an all-inclusive type personality where she tries to bring everyone together and kumbaya. I just think anything she does at this point, people are gonna look at her crazy. You see, you got to be consistent. Everyone knows on my channel, Hood Champion's consistent. He talks, he jokes, he don't get caught up in no bullshit. I'm consistent. Whether you agree or not, one thing is that he don't really change. He talk his little shit, he makes his jokes, and that's just him. You know what I'm saying? He really, I am what I am, and I don't deviate. You know what I'm saying? And I think people watch that. I watch some of the subscribers. Very consistent. Those who are kind of quiet, those who are more professional, those who are well-spoken, those who like to joke and play. I look at some of those who have, a little bit chippiness. I see it all. And you know what? I appreciate them for who they are because they're consistent. But if you're someone who's consistently toxic, well, I mean, after a certain point in time, nobody won't deal with your ass. You know what I mean? Unless they're just there for the drama. And I think most people with Claressa, they ain't there for the drama no more. They're just tired. It's just for her, it's clicks. Clicks, and can I take this? Can I upload it? Can I make a video? So you got to look at, again, the Layla Ali's, the Katie Taylors, even look at some of the other females out there, man. You know what I mean? The Raquel Millers, and even Dubois is kind of going a certain direction, but she got to reel it in. But you just got to look at these women, the Gabrielle Fundoras, and they got it together, man. There's a lot of females got it together. I'm not saying they can't get a little bit chippy, but they're not consistently toxic. And also when it comes to perception changing, you got to look at the time and the intentional communication. Are you intentionally trying to offend and hurt? You know they say hurt people hurt people. If you got someone out here, male or female, young or old, especially old, you got gray in your hair, and you're intentionally lying, intentionally trying to break people down, you're intentionally communicating negative shit, you got a fucking problem. Once you get over 30, I'd say once you get over like your 30s, you should start having an idea. I'm not saying you're going to be perfect, but kind of have an idea. You know what I'm saying? How you should try to present yourself. You ain't going to get it right all the time, but once you get 30, because in the 20s, some people are still going mature, and some have already matured, but I've seen it. Most people, by the time they get to their 30s, you start to see them start to pivot and go a different direction with the drama. But once you see people get past 30, 40, ain't no hope for them. You just got to leave them alone. Don't even entertain them. And I don't want to see anybody, especially a professional athlete who we appreciate watching them fight, to be all old and miserable and shit. That can't be a happy life. But hey, you create your own misery, you got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And again, that intentional communication with Claressa, just for example, this weekend, that intentional communication, couldn't wait to get in front of that camera and cuss and carry on and disrespect content creators, disrespect the fighters, disrespect the whole promotional platform, and just go crazy. So I think the bigger lesson is not just about one fighter, it's about universal truth. But Claressa's at the center of all that right now. You know, the talent will get you there. Claressa, you there. You've been there for a while, but the attitude is what's going to keep you there. That's why you ain't there no more. Alicia Baumgartner is taking your spot. And Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, they're already up there. But you out of here. The champion ain't do that to you. You did it to yourself. Attitude. Attitude is everything, man. I'm telling you. No matter how effective you are at something, if you got a shitty attitude, people get tired of your ass. Just is what it is. I had some people come and hit me up and talk to me about certain things. And all I'll say is, attitude is everything. People need to understand. Sometimes you got to shut up. Because people get tired of hearing a negative ass person. Anyway, Claressa Shields, her career, it just, to me, it shows something important that everybody can learn from. Everybody, whether you're an athlete or not. You can be historically great and still be debated in how you're perceived. Because in today's world, legacy is built both inside and outside the ring. And that's whether it's at your job, outside your job, or whatever you're doing. I mean, when it comes to legacy, when it comes to how you're perceived, when it comes to opportunities, I'm telling you, man. It doesn't matter how great you are, man. It's still going to be debated how you perceive because of your attitude. And those are the facts in the breeze.